I used to brag that my dad was a cop. I told everyone my dad catches the bad guys. I believed it. I wanted to believe it. But one rainy night, I followed him. What I saw destroyed everything I knew. Because my dad, the man I trusted most, was helping criminals. Hi, my name's Jason. I'm 17. And growing up, I idolized my dad. He wore that blue uniform like a superhero cape. He'd come home after long shifts, kiss my mom, ruffle my hair, and say, "We serve to protect, son." We had matching toy handcuffs when I was 5. He gave me his old badge once. I kept it in a shoebox like it was sacred. But there were little things that didn't feel right. Like one evening, he came home with blood on his shirt. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Traffic stop gone wrong. Nothing to worry about." I believed him. Until later that night, I heard him whisper on the phone, "Don't worry, the guy won't talk. He's taken care of." My stomach twisted. But I told myself, it's just police stuff. Grown-up stuff I don't get. I wanted to believe he was still the hero. Then came the night that changed everything. It was storming outside. He grabbed his keys, kissed Mom on the cheek, and said, "Late shift tonight. Don't wait up." But something in his voice felt off. So I did something reckless. I grabbed my bike and followed his car. He didn't drive to the station. He didn't even take the usual roads. He drove across town to an abandoned-looking warehouse near the train tracks. I hid behind a dumpster, heart pounding in my ears. Then I saw it. He got out of the car and hugged someone. But not just anyone. It was Marcus Snake Delo, a known drug trafficker. I'd seen his face on the local news. Wanted for weapons, narcotics, and assault. And my dad was smiling with him. I went home shaking. Barely slept. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. The next morning I asked, "Dad, who's Marcus?" He froze, then slowly turned to me and said, "Where did you hear that name?" I lied. "Just school rumors." His eyes narrowed, and for the first time, I saw fear in them. Not mine, his. He barked, "Stay out of grown-up business, Jason," then stormed out the door. But I couldn't stay out of it anymore. I started digging. While he was in the shower, I found his burner phone in a drawer. There were messages. "Drop off tonight at midnight." The kids asking questions. "Make sure it's clean." There were photos, too. Money, guns, and timestamps. All during his so-called shifts. I felt sick. I wanted to throw up. Was my dad part of a criminal ring? I couldn't go to the cops. He was the cops. Who would believe me? So I went to Mom. I told her everything. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. "Your father is a decorated officer," she snapped. But then I showed her the photos, and her face completely collapsed. She didn't cry. Not right away. She just said, "We need to look in the garage." We searched together. Behind some old uniforms, she found a metal box, locked. She grabbed a crowbar. It popped open. Inside were bundles of cash, 2 unregistered pistols, and a folder, a thick black folder, with names. Dozens. Some were crossed out. One of them was someone who had died resisting arrest. But now I knew he'd been silenced. My father wasn't just a bad cop. He was an executioner. Mom told me to stay quiet. We needed proof. Real proof. So I came up with a plan. I grabbed an old GoPro from the garage, taped it inside my backpack. And the next time he left for a shift, I followed, again. I waited outside that warehouse for hours. And when he finally walked in, he wasn't alone. He was laughing with Marcus. They talked about shipments, routes, and the commissioner's blind eye. They were all in on it. My dad, his team, maybe the whole department. I sent the footage anonymously to Internal Affairs. And then we waited. 1 day. 2 days. Nothing. Until one night, we came home to find the living room trashed. Drawers ripped open. Papers everywhere. Dad stood in the doorway. Cold. Silent. He didn't blink. He just said, "You've been snooping, haven't you?" I nodded. And he smiled. The scariest smile I'd ever seen. He grabbed our phones. Locked me in my room. Said nothing. But he didn't know I had a backup phone hidden under the bed. I texted the only contact from Internal Affairs who'd replied to my message. He knows. Help. 30 minutes later, sirens. Flashing lights. Dozens of officers. I watched from the stairs as they handcuffed him. He didn't struggle. He didn't shout. He looked at me, eyes hollow, and whispered, "You ruined everything." Tears streamed down my face. I didn't say a word. Turns out, my tip triggered a full investigation. 5 more officers were arrested. The commissioner resigned. The whole department shook. And my dad? Sentenced to 25 years in prison. After that, life changed. We moved in with my aunt. Mom's in therapy, and so am I. School was rough. Some kids called me a snitch. Others called me a hero. But I didn't feel like either. Just lost. Do I still want to be a cop someday? I don't know. How do you chase a dream built on lies? But I do know this. Doing the right thing hurts. It feels like betrayal, especially when it's someone you love. But silence? Silence protects the guilty. And I couldn't stay silent anymore. Even heroes wear masks. And sometimes, those masks have badges. What I did wasn't brave. It was necessary. If you ever feel like the truth will destroy your world, remember this. It might. But lies? They destroy you from the inside. Speak up. Even if your voice shakes. Even if you stand alone. Because sometimes, the truth is the only weapon we have.